Greetings, executive students, and welcome to the Executive MBA program at Pepperdine University. My name is Rachel Todd, and I'm the Senior Associate Director of Operations in the Executive Program Office. I want to welcome you and I want to congratulate you on your decision to join the EMBA program. It's life-changing in so many ways. I also want to let you know that here in the program office, our goal is to help you achieve your academic goals with as little red tape as possible. If we're doing our job, you can focus on what's really important, your own academics, but we need your help to make this happen. And we also want you to know that we get it. We know that your time is valuable, so this new student orientation is going to be as brief as possible. We're going to cover some of the high points so that you know what to expect over the next 19 months. This is a full-service executive MBA, and one of the things I want to cover is what is included in your tuition. The 3.5-day effective executive workshop, which takes place next week, is completely covered. Everything from your hotel overnights to your meals to your course materials, everything you need for that entire workshop is covered by your tuition. The program office also enrolls you in all of your courses, which, trust me, you're going to be grateful for. You don't have to search for classes. You don't have to figure out when to add drop. We take care of all of that for you. We also provide all of your meals and break foods for every weekend class session. All of your course materials, such as books, e-books, case studies, simulations, anything that's associated with your course is going to be paid for by the program office. The international trip is completely covered, everything from lodging, meals, ground transportation. We even cover the tips for the people at the hotels and restaurants and for your ground transportation. The one thing we don't cover is your airfare. We also pay for a closing dinner on your final weekend class session, which takes place at a restaurant in Malibu or Santa Monica. It just depends on the availability, but it's a very nice event, something for you to look forward to. We also pay for parking at all of the Pepperdine graduate campus locations. What is not covered by your tuition? After the kickoff, we do not cover any overnight hotels for weekend class sessions, so you're on your own for those. And we also don't pay for airfare for the international trip. So here are some of the topics we're going to cover, and again, I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. Attendance, email correspondence, grades and academic status, student financials, tech support, student meals in the international trip, and I also wanted to point out that at the Library Resources Lesson 3, which is located in the EMBA Tech Orientation, at the bottom of this Library Resources video, there's a place for you to sign up for 2 library webinars. You can choose one of the 2 or you can sign up for both. They are May 19th or May 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. I highly recommend attending one of these because it's going to help you in all of your research and it's going to guide you on how to do executive level research using the tools available here at Pepperdine. Because of the cohort nature of the Executive MBA program here at Pepperdine, there is so much content packed into every weekend class session that every class session is mandatory. So review your class schedule and block out those dates because missed classes are very difficult to make up. And if there is a situation that arises, please consult with your class advisor before missing a class. And even if you're late for a class session, work with your class advisor to make up any material that you may have missed. As I said, there is the opportunity to make up a class session, but it must be due to a personal emergency. We really don't want people to be missing a weekend class session for something like a weekend or a business event. This really needs to be a personal emergency. A makeup class can be scheduled, but sometimes it's with another cohort and it could be even in a different city. For instance, you may have to make up the class session in San Jose with one of our Northern Cal classes. You will need to coordinate the makeup session with your class advisor and with us here in the program office. Pepperdine emails. I can't stress this enough that checking your Pepperdine email is something you should get used to doing frequently. It's the only official method of communication that the Pepperdine can use with the students. I can't tell you how many students have had issues that arose because they didn't get in the habit of checking their Pepperdine email. For instance, if you missed paying your tuition and you're being assessed late fees, that information will be sent to your Pepperdine email. Or if a class schedule was changed and you didn't pay attention to your Pepperdine email, you may not know that the class session was moved to a new location. So do whatever it takes, for instance, forwarding it to a personal email. But ultimately, you are responsible for finding a way to check your Pepperdine email. Pepperdine's Executive MBA program does have an academic standing requirement. You must earn a 3.0, which is a B or better in all of your courses. And you must have a cumulative GPA of a 3.0 or better in order to graduate. If you don't meet this standard, for instance, if you drop below a 3.0 GPA, you will receive a warning letter which will be put in your file and you will be put on academic probation. There are professors who will allow you to resubmit your work, but don't depend on it. We advise that you work closely with your class advisor and make sure that your grades are at a 3.0 or better throughout the program. Student financials. First of all, paying your tuition is clearly important, but one thing we want to point out that is if your tuition is unpaid at the end of the trimester, there will be a hold placed on your account and we cannot register you for your upcoming classes. So please check your Pepperdine email and make sure that your tuition has been paid in full. Because even if there is, say, $40 or $50 that you had not paid and finance charges had accrued, we could not enroll you, even if you had a past due of only $40. I also want to remind you that you must complete and submit all of your loan paperwork in order to have your loans applied to your student account. So if you have any questions regarding your student loan, contact Mr. Mersey K. He can be reached at mersey.k@pepperdine.edu. Here's what the standard weekend class schedule looks like in the EMBA program. Classes meet on Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays they meet from 1:30 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Fridays, there's going to be beverages and light snacks available before you get there. So from 1 o'clock on, you can come and go to the lunchroom, or actually here at the West LA campus, you're going to go to room 203, and there's going to be snacks and beverages available. At 4 o'clock, there's going to be more snacks and beverages. There will be a break given in the middle of your class. And at 6 o'clock p.m., there's going to be a hot dinner served. Later in the evening, before class breaks, there will be a final break for you on Fridays. On Saturdays, we have a hot breakfast served at 7:30 a.m. Class begins at 8. There's a morning break. And at 12 noon, there's a hot lunch served. And in the mid-afternoon, there's another afternoon break with beverages. So lodging and parking is something students oftentimes are confused about. So overnight stays, as I mentioned earlier, are not included in your tuition, but we do provide a list of hotels in your folder that you will receive at the kickoff next week that provide you with a list of guaranteed Pepperdine rates at all of the hotels near the campuses. In addition, the Villa Grazia Dio in Malibu will have overnight room blocks for every weekend session where you meet in Malibu. And you can reserve an overnight by calling 310-506-1100, and the overnight rate for students is $178 a night, including tax. If you do decide to pick up a room at the Villa Grazia Dio, you need to do so prior to 2 weeks before your class session, and you need to identify yourself as an EMBA 107 South student. Parking is free at all of the campuses. In Malibu, you simply drive into the Malibu campus and park. There are no parking passes. At the West LA and Irvine graduate campuses, you are going to pull into a parking structure and pull a parking pass. You're going to push the button and get a parking ticket. And when you come to class, we are going to provide all of you with daily parking vouchers that get you out of the parking lot for free. I do want to bring your attention to the tuition refund policy in the EMBA program. Say something happens and you absolutely have to drop out of the program, a life emergency, something happens with your job. If you have to drop out of the program, please do so by June 11th. This is the very last day to drop with a 100% tuition refund. You will have to forfeit your $2,000 deposit, however. Effective June 12th, if you drop out on June 12th or after, you will be responsible for 100% of your summer 2015 tuition. So this is a very important date to note. If you do need to drop from the EMBA program, just shoot me an email. And it needs to come from your Pepperdine email account because the university will not acknowledge an email from a personal or a private account. and send that to rachel.todd@pepperdine.edu. And the date that I receive that email is the date that will be acknowledged by the registrar as the date you're dropping from the program. I also wanted to let everyone know that tuition increases is a standard practice across all of the major graduate schools, and Pepperdine is not excluded from that. So the Pepperdine EMBA program can expect a 3 to 6% tuition increase in the fall. So just to let you know, be prepared for a tuition increase in the fall of 2015. I recommend printing this page out because the emergency contact information is something really important to have handy. If you're meeting at the Malibu campus and there's an emergency that takes place, while dialing 911 is always important, it's also important to contact the local security, the public safety at that campus, because a police officer might not be able to find what building you're at and it may take them longer to get to you, whereas public safety on campus can get you in a matter of minutes. So I recommend putting the Malibu campus public safety phone number into your own contact list in your phone. There's also a number to dial if you observe any kind of a crime, and it's anonymous crime tips number. There's a toll-free emergency information number, and there's a road conditions phone number that you can call. Say you're driving to the Malibu campus and you've heard that there's an accident on PCH. You can dial 310-506-ROAD and get the latest information on driving conditions. We also have an emergency website, emergency.pepperdine.edu, where you can get updated information regarding the Pepperdine University. So who do you contact if you have any technology questions? We actually have an anytime support that's staffed 24/7. The toll-free number is 866-767-8623, and a person will actually pick up the phone, issue a ticket, and you should get a response within 24 hours on your issue. We also have a website if you happen to need a password reset. Say you tried to log into WaveNet and you forgot your password. You can reset it by going to myid.pepperdine.edu for a password reset. So that's it. I wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch this new student orientation, and I also want to welcome you once again and tell you that we look forward to meeting you in person at the kickoff. I also wanted to remind you that this education is something that's yours and yours alone. The fundamental value of this degree is going to be what you put into it. So hold yourself accountable, hold each other accountable, and in the end, it's going to be one of the very best things you've done for yourself, your family, and your career. So welcome to EMBA 107 and enjoy the ride.